Alright, so this is my project for the Python final project. It's a Guess Who type game. So my goal for this project was to replicate like the popular Guess Who type game when you play with a child, when you like the board, and each person would have like a name in the background, and you would try to guess who would that be for the person. So jeez, but so what you were doing is basically guessing the person, but instead of guessing the person, I just did with you're guessing a word. Because that's just easier because you can't really have faces or pictures in Python. And this instead of like being player versus player, I did player versus computer because that's what the code's for. The goal of this was to make the game, and also with the players, like how you play Guess Who's like, oh, is it you make a guess by like, oh, is your person with blonde hair or is it with brown hair, or like do they have glasses? So instead of doing that, I did categories where they just basically say, oh, does your name start with A? Then does the word start with A? Then you have all the words that start with A here, or does it start with B? All the words that start with B. Then or it's like, oh, is it a U.S. city? U.S. city. It's got all the U.S. cities. So it basically alternates back between the fourth and the two of those. And as you can see that each word falls into two categories. So there's technically a total of 25 words, but each word falls into two categories. So you have like American football and words that start with A, but also sports gear. And for U.S. cities, you have Green Bay, but you also have it in the word for G. So there's like multiple connections, so there's multiple ways you can guess. It's not the same, oh, just guess the A's, guess the B's, so on and so forth. For the start of the code, first you have the import random function, and basically the start of this is just to get the module random, so like whenever we can reference this later, so we can get like a random number to get our mystery word that the player is trying to guess. Because without this, we wouldn't be able to get our mystery word because Python doesn't have randomness; it's all hard coded. The next, here is our big dictionary. This is our dictionary with all the terms, all the categories, and there's like two different keys in it. Well, there's the main, it's technically a nested dictionary, but you have the main dictionary with the categories, and there's 1 through 10 there of their separate dictionaries. What I did here was just so we could reference these later, that like, oh, number 1 is international cities, number 2 is words that start with B. Then within this nested dictionary, you have two keys. You have the name, so it's like that's just like the category name. So like if you ever want to print the name of like print the category name, you could say, oh, starts with C. Then you have the words, which this is the more important part. This is like all the words that are in the list. So it's you have like for words that start with C, you have Club, K, Chicago, Canada, and Cairo. And this is a list, so we can reference this later whenever we need it to like, oh, can we search in our list of does it start with C? We can search our word into that. So that's what that's for. Then the next line of code is this is just a list that we use to create a blank list of all the words possible. So like we're just basically taking all these words we have up here and making them into a list. And how we do that is we use a for loop. It's basically for each category number, so it's just like the numbers 1 through 4 in the range 1 through 6. That technically only iterates to the first 5, but we do that because if you look in the first 5, it's got all 25 words. Well, in 6 through 10, it doesn't have all 25 words. So that's the point of that. And then for each of those words, each of those categories, it's a for loop to go through 1 through 6, and there's another for loop to go through each word through this in the list in the nested dictionary. That's what this for each word in the category number of the words, because this is how you get to the next dictionary. It just appends it to the list of all words. And that's just a list we can have later, so we can reference like, oh, here's all the words. Then our secret word equals random.choice of all words. This is just going back to our random function. This is how we choose our mystery word that the player is trying to guess, and then how the computer decides, oh, which words it can be, so it's not the same word every time. It's the dot choice function, which we got because we needed import random earlier, and then it goes to all words, which is the list we just created of all the words. And then basically, so now we have our secret word that the player is trying to guess. Then the list of words equals the list of all words. This list of words is different from this because this one we're going to be modifying. This one we're going to be modifying as we go because we're removing words from it based on their guess. So like say the player guess, oh, does it start with A? It doesn't. And then from that list, we're going to remove all those words. So the player can see, oh, there's only 20 words remaining. And then just like the welcome to the guess who. Then this is our main while loop, or our main like function or code that runs the whole process of the game. And we just lend our list of words because basically we want to run the code until there's only one word left. Because oh, you can only guess there's only one word left. You found the word that's remaining. So like we keep going until there's only one word left. But once it's one, the while loop will end and you'll exit out. Then this two print statements just print all the remaining words. So like the second list of words, as we remove from them, every time you guess this, it'll show you the words you have remaining, so you can know like, oh, all the G ones are removed. Like you should know because you're just playing the game, but like if you know. And then this part right here, this is to print all the categories. This, geez, it's to print all the categories that we have above. And basically how we do that is we basically print the number of categories for each number in there. In category data, in categories you print the items. So basically what this does is prints all number ones, and then it prints the name. Because it goes into the next dictionary and prints the name. So it's oh, does it start with A, does it start with B, so on and so forth. And that's just so it like prints out all the names of the categories so you can guess. And also why we label 1 through 10 is because now when the player wants to input, oh, I want to guess all the ones that start with A, they can just input the number 1. And that goes into the next part of code right here. It's just your choice is your input, your integer input is like ask your number 1 to 10. So that's basically, because the list will be printed so you can see 1 to 10. It's like, oh, I want to guess all the ones that start with B, and then you put a number 2 in. So you can input that. And then that chosen category is just the categories of their choice. Yeah. Because it's just you're taking your choice, and based on that, you're choosing your category. That's in. So if you're basically, then we take our secret word. If our secret word is in our chosen category words, so it goes to see if our secret word is in, like, say I guess A, it sees if it's one of these A words. If it does, then it prints yes it is, and prints the category name as yes in that list. And then basically what does that, and now we're trying to narrow it down so it's just those words remaining. So we create a new list, and for all the words in that list, we do a for loop for each word in that, and each word in our chosen category, we just add it to our new list. And then our new list becomes our list of words that we use to, our list of remaining words, basically. So now we're down to like 5 words. If it's in that A, now we append all 5 of those words to it. Now that's our new remaining list. And then it goes back to the start. You input again, so forth. If it doesn't, if it's not in the chosen category, it takes a list, it does a new list again for the words and list word for each time, and then does it for not in chosen category. That's the main difference. So if it's not in the chosen, for words not in the chosen category, it'll append a list. So it'll append all the other categories or all the words that are not doing that. Then basically it'll print the game is over and the secret word. That's just like to show that we're finished the game and like those are what you're guessing. And then it shows you the word. Now we can go through like the demonstration of it. So I need to clear these out. Okay, so this is it's just the welcome to guess who, and it shows all the remaining words you can see you have left. So it's all 25 of them, and you can guess based on there. And then it shows you all the categories. This is what I was going back to earlier, where you can get asked 1 through 10. And this is like the name category. This is why we did the dictionary at the top for the name, because then we can just print them all here without doing individual print statements or a for loop. It's just like, oh, we know all these. So I'm gonna guess, is it a U.S. city? See how it shows, because we do number 8 because we want to guess U.S. cities, and then it says, oh, it's not a U.S. city. Then it shows all the remaining words. Then it removes all the U.S. cities, so there's no more Green Bay or any of those. So I'm gonna guess, is it an international country? Or international city? No, it's not an international city, so we guess rid of that. So we're down to 15 words now. It's kind of just a repetition of this. I'm gonna guess countries. Yes, so see, it is in countries. So we now know it's down to one of these 5 remaining words. So we can guess, oh, does it start with B? Yes, it does start with B. And then our game is over because we got the word mystery word in Brazil. Game's over, and see, yes, it starts with B. And that's just a general rundown of the code and how it works.